Hey, what's going on, fight fans? Hey, this is Coach the Wild Man coming at you again. Like I always say, I give you the best stories and the best interviews. Now, you know how I get down. I scour the world to go, who's going to give me the best story? And I got one for you. First of all, he's a high schooler. For me, the old school, I can care less, but the guy's just that good. The word he's multiple champions is across everything. Multiple champion in Super 32, multiple champion in Powerade, multiple champions in Ironman, multiple champions in Who's Number One. Come on now. That means he's just the man. I'm talking about Bo Bassett. I'm proud to have him on. He's just that good. Bo, what's going on, brother?
What's going on? Excited to be here. Blessed. Really excited to talk with you. I love this. So let's do it.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, how does a high schooler have the work ethic that you have, that you commit yourself to wrestling to such a degree that you're number one in the world? How does a high schooler stay that focused?
Yes, sir. Well, I think for me, I love this. I love every single day. I love the hardest days. I love the days when we compete. And I love the days that everybody else loves. But I think the thing that it comes down to for me is the days when other people don't love it. That's when I still love it. And for me, it's all about hard work. And that's what I've been brought up on.
Yeah.
Ever since I started wrestling, I was 6 years old. I'm now 18. So at this point for me, I got to keep doing what got me to here. Right. And the sky's the limit. I think one thing we've always focused on at a young age was setting our goals extremely high.
Yeah.
And in order to set your goals high, you got to live a really clean lifestyle, an intentional lifestyle. And so for me, that's what I've done from a really young age. Obviously, getting older and in America and in today's day and age, right? There's a lot of distractions.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's all about sacrificing, staying on the path, doing the right things, and living the right lifestyle. And doing things that others aren't willing to do or aren't willing to sacrifice. I think that's what it comes down to. Believing in my faith and just absolutely trying to outwork everyone.
I know that's right. So is wrestling a family tradition, or one day you woke up and you go, Dad, I want wrestling? How'd that happen?
Yeah, I was born into it, is what I like to say. But
Yeah.
the day I stepped on the mat, I loved it. So it wasn't like a forced thing. I loved it. My dad wrestled when he was younger, and then he coached. He coached at a really prestigious club, Young Guns Wrestling Club. They got guys like Spencer Lee,
Yeah.
Jason Nolf, just a few to name. But I grew up in that club right here in Western Pennsylvania. So he coached there before I was born,
Okay.
right? So, I mean, how blessed and lucky am I to be born right where I'm at, really in probably the hotbed of, right, like one of the best places to possibly be born for wrestling in the United States, Western Pennsylvania. So here I am, born into it. My dad coached there. He coached at high school. And then, yeah, once I touched the mat, it was over. It's definitely a family thing. My two brothers are traveling the world as well, wrestling. We're brought up. We're 3 grades in a row. So I'm a junior. My brother's sophomore, and the other one's a freshman. So we're all right in a row. We love wrestling. My mom's a huge part of it as well. There's 5 of us, and yeah, I mean, this is what we love to do, and we do it every single day, as absolutely as hard as we can.
Outstanding. So what I liked about, because I did my research to kind of see what all you've done. You've actually mastered the balance between competing and understanding what the world demands. 'Cause, we live in a world where people constantly want your attention. Like, hey, I'm doing an interview now. People want to see what you're doing. They want to see how you're progressing. They want to see your lifestyle. How do you balance the sport side of it and the entertainment side of it, like social media and so on? How do you balance that? Because I see you everywhere.
They go hand in hand. Yeah, for me, it's just part of what I do. For the last couple of years, probably the last 5 years, I've been able to really build my brand up
Yeah.
and be able to be vocal and be kind of like a role model, hopefully, for the younger guys and an inspiration. And more than just a wrestler is what I like to think about it. Someone who can inspire or set the right example or say the right things. And in order to do that, you got to back it up,
Yeah.
right? So you have to really work hard, have the results. So they go hand in hand for me. So when I'm not wrestling or I'm not training or I'm not, in the gym, whatever it is, I feel like I'm working on that type of stuff. I'm still thinking about it, trying to get better, watching film or writing my goals or visualizing or just getting better on the the social side. And I think that that's super important, especially, you know, in the day we live in. You've got to be able to do that to market yourself, because if you don't, no one else will, I feel like. And so you got to make sure you do that for yourself. My dad's, done a great job helping me out with that. And, we've taken it and ran with it.
So here's what I noticed. Like I said, I'm a strength and conditioning coach. So when I started training young athletes, right, who were just getting their skills together, I focused on one skill, which was gas tank. I believe if you can impose your will, you can overcome a lot of shortcomings in your skill set. What I noticed about you, you're a great hand fighter. Your scramble is ridiculous, right? Did you decide on pressure or it just came naturally?
I think it's where I'm at, my environment. I think
Yeah.
that has a lot to do with my style and who I am. What my dad had always told me from a young age, my dad would put it in my mind that you can be the best in the world. You can be the best ever. And I believe that. And I think that kind of played into my style, just like someone who wants to sprint. And that's how we look at it. Like absolutely sprint. Guys wait till the end to sprint, or when they're losing, they got to go get one.
Yeah.
We want to wrestle that way from the start, because you wrestle that way from the start, you're hard to beat. If you can sprint, the whole entire match for 6, 7 minutes, that's really tough to beat. And then you have that X factor, right? So if you don't get the guy early, the tight match, the third period, that's deep waters,
Yeah.
right? So that X factor kind of comes out because we live that way and train that way. So I love that you mentioned gas tank, because that's something that we, is one of our best attributes and something that we really work on a lot. And so I put a lot of pride in my gas tank, and I think that it has been a product of my environment and the way that I've been brought up. We train really hard, and I think just the place that I'm at, that's just kind of what they've always done. So I think for me, I just really took it in my own and put that confidence behind it.
I mean, that's right. All right, I'm about to ask you a trick question. What does being number one mean to you? Like you hear people say, "Hey, I want to be number one," but you don't hear them fighting everybody. You know what I'm saying? What does number one mean to you?
Yeah. Well, number one to me, I think is I'm one of those guys that put on the line always.
Yeah.
So number one's consistently being number one. You can't just get to that spot and then kind of sit on it.
Mhm.
We compete a lot, monthly, if not every weekend during the season. So I'm putting it on the line, not just in the United States, but overseas, and bump into senior level, whatever it may be. Always trying to challenge myself.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's challenging myself. We call it chasing lions.
Mhm.
Putting yourself in a place where you might not be favored, or you're not supposed to win,
Yeah.
but you go out there and you believe wholeheartedly that you can. I think that for me is being number one. Maybe not the ranking, or maybe not the titles, but believing it in your own mind and going and getting it every time.
So I was laughing to myself when I was looking at all your accolades. I go, he doesn't even have his man strength yet, but he's beating high level athletes like NCAA. Like you beat Anthony, he's a high level wrestler. You beat him as a high schooler. I like how is he? It's blowing my mind. I go, how is he doing this? So to you, is it just mentality or heart, or you figure it out as the match goes on?
Yeah, people miss out a lot on the ability and the power of the mind.
Yeah.
I think the power of faith as well. I know that win or lose is part of the plan. So Monday morning comes around. If I win, I'm going to be working hard. And if I don't win, I'm still going to be working hard. So I don't put too much pressure on myself. I
Yeah.
think as the match goes on, for sure, I definitely learn and, look at the little things, try to really get my IQ out, up during the match and make adjustments. But I think for me, I want to sprint and wrestle extremely hard, a style that people want to watch. And so I think it comes down to putting out the best performance I can every time. I think if you focus on the outcome, that will, you're not focusing on the performance. If you focus on the performance, I think that takes care of the outcome. So I try to put the performance first.
I know that's right. Well, now one of the things that I is you had a rivalry with Daniel Cepeda. He kind of beat you in the first match and really to me, like he handed your ass a little bit. But
Yeah.
what I loved about it that you hunted him down. You go, I'm gonna go wherever he's at until I get
Yeah.
that match back. And then you had the 2 out of 3. That was awesome. Kind of walk us through what was your mindset after the first match, where it seemed like you went on a tear, like he fueled you to a point that you just wiped the slate clean. So when you see him again, you were 10 times more prepared. Kind of walk us through that.
Everybody in their life and their career, whatever it is, have turning points.
Yeah.
That was a big one for me. That was a
Yeah.
huge one. If you would ask me, what's like a defining moment, that would be it.
Okay.
That year, who's number one? At the world's watching. All of the wrestling world is watching. That's a huge event. Everybody watches that. Flow Wrestling covers, and so that's a big one, right? All eyes on there, and then that happens. The kickback you get online, and you're just like, man, what do I got to do different? And I think for me, I didn't. It wasn't anything really that different. It was the little things and
Yeah.
keep pounding the stone, kind of. And so I knew I was going to chase this guy down. I was on the so-called vision quest and tried to get him a couple of times prior to that. Didn't, it just didn't really happen. And then locked him in at who's number one in Johnstown, PA, where I'm from. It kind of went full circle.
Yeah.
And so it was a great feeling to get that one done. And then, hey, I told you I compete everywhere. So
Yeah.
I put it on the line at every big event. I will not miss one. And so
that's
Super
right.
32, about a month later, he showed up, which respect to him. We meet in the finals, and then I got the last one out of the three. And nothing but respect to that guy, though. I mean, he made me so much better. And again, that's a defining moment in my career that I won't ever forget. And his coaches, Coach Cormier out there. Yeah, so he's definitely got some great coaches. I have some great coaches, and it was a really fun series of three. He's kicking butt out in California, but not sure that I'll see him for a little bit of time. But nothing but respect to him. He's a great opponent, and he'll be at NC State next year, so he's going to do great things.
Well, sir, I was lucky to be able to one of my great friends is Micah Hendricks. So he brought me out to Super 32. I got to see how everybody gets down. What do you consider your favorite stomping ground to compete? That you can say, hey, when I'm here, I get the best no matter what's going on.
Yeah, that one would be up there for sure. Super 32, that atmosphere was insane this year. It was awesome, especially for that match. So I would have to say Super 32 is a fun one to wrestle, and anytime you can represent the USA.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. There's nothing like representing not only your name on your back, but USA and the red, white, and blue. Like that's legit. So Super 32 is fun. And, when it's round 3 of 3 in a pretty heated and blown up, hyped up series, that's fun too.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said, world competition. So like I said, I work with Gamma USA, and we do international competition for youth and amateur athletes. We just got brought under United World Wrestling, which is blowing my mind already. So we're going to be in the same neck of the woods at some point. But I saw that you competed in the world championships. Walk us through, what was that like competing, on the world stage?
Yes, sir. So currently I have 2 world medals. I competed in U17 World Championships in Budapest, Hungary, when I was, I believe, 14 or 15 years old. And I won a gold medal. So I won a world title for USA in freestyle. And then 2 days later, I competed in Greco as well that year. I did not medal in Greco, but won a world gold in freestyle. And, that day changed my life. And from there, it's been absolutely amazing. And you kind of get put into the circuit a little bit as far as USA Wrestling and get way more opportunities. So it's been an amazing blessing. And then this previous year, I was in Peru to compete at Pan Am's. Okay. And then I went to Spain to compete in the World Championships in U20s. And again, I was 17, turning 18 at the time in the 20 and under division. And the other guys from the other countries are not 20. But I got a bronze medal there, which was awesome. So, yeah, wrestling up, challenging myself. I'll be in the same division for 2 more years. And like I said, the guys from the other countries, they're definitely not 20. They're definitely older. But it was still cool to be able to wrestle in an event like the World Championships. And that's really the stage right below the seniors. So I'll be competing seniors this year and chasing lions, right? There's no reason not to believe in myself and just have fun. It's a win-win.
So I do with MMA. What is your take on MMA? Are you a big fan of it?
Yeah, I am a big fan. I've been a big fan for a long time. But right now I've been watching, obviously, with Bo Nickel and what he's been doing. And he's kind of being, I don't know, he's a pretty he was a big prospect going in. I mean, the things that he's done in the wrestling world. So it's been really cool to see what guys like that can do. And right now he's on a roll, right? So really excited to see a lot more wrestlers transition over. And it's just been fun to watch that process and how the UFC's developed. And yeah, I'm a huge fan, and we tune in, every big card, and it's been awesome.
Nice. So if a average kid came up to you and go, "Hey, I want to get into wrestling," what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
You're a product of who you surround yourself with, right? And kind of the average of those people. So for me, I've always been really grateful to be in an awesome room like Young Guns with a lot of awesome role models and great wrestlers that were doing the things I wanted to do or just wrestling at a really high level. And I've always been around that. So I think for me, I would tell those guys to try to get in a room like that, right? And I think the main thing is you gotta love the sport.
Yeah.
It can't be a I have to do this. It's got to be I get to do this every single time. And so if you look at it that way, you love what you're doing. Sky's the limit in this sport. There's amazing resources. You work hard, you're going to get a lot of success out of it. Feel like whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of it.
Well, like I said, for lack of a simpler word, you are a star athlete. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows your name. Everybody I talk to, they go, "Hey, man, if you don't know Bo, you don't know wrestling." I'm like, "Well, yeah, yeah." But like I said, so you decided on Iowa, right? Was that a big decision, or that's how it played out?
For me, Iowa has been almost a dream since I was young.
Okay.
And that's crazy to say as a Pennsylvania wrestler because Penn State's right down the road.
Yeah.
They are the team for the last 10 years. But I've had a lot of connections to Iowa.
Hmm.
I think for me, that was the right choice. I wrestle pretty similar to that style. They work extremely hard.
Yeah.
They do a lot of things right that, I think that the way I was brought up, the way that our room is ran and our programs ran is really similar to the Iowa room.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be an easy transition. I think that Iowa is an empire as far as fans and people that get behind it. Iowa wrestling there's not a lot of people that don't know Iowa wrestling. So I'm excited to be put into that. Keep, building my brand, building Iowa's brand, and be the best possible wrestler, person, and man of my faith that I can. I think that I can do that there.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to be a part of that. And I think, again, working with the brands and being in a place like Iowa and what they've been able to do is going to be awesome.
Well, see, for me, this is my take on it. Like I said, I come from mixed martial arts. One of the things to be the best, you got to challenge the best. And sometimes some of the best may be in your own gym. You know what I'm saying? I do a lot of fighters who won't fight their fellow mat mates. He said, "Hey, I can fight that guy," but he's right there with you. So if you don't beat him, you would never know if you're truly number one. You know what I'm saying? And that's my take on it. Like, hey, if that guy's across the room, after you get done wrestling him, then you can hang out and talk noise. But if he's right there with you, you got to find out. To me.
Yep.
So what do you think about that fighting, wrestling your classmates if it comes down to it?
Yeah, I think we all want the same thing. We're all chasing the same dreams and goals. And if it comes down to it, yeah, we're going to do it 100%. And I want to surround myself with the right people. So you got Olympic medalists in the Iowa room that I'll be around, and that's going to be a pretty awesome place to be. I think that, again, you got to, iron sharpens iron. So you got to put yourself around the right people. And so I'm more than excited to do that. And I think I'm going to have a lot of great relationships. And, if you have to cross paths with someone, I think it's a win-win, right? You win, they're going to help you out. And if you lose, hey, let's help this guy reach his goals. That's what it is for me.
Yeah, 100%. All right, Bob, I'll keep you no more. I know you're a busy guy, so let's go ahead and wrap it up. Anybody you want to give some love to?
Yeah. I want to throw a shout out to my parents. They're amazing. I appreciate them more than anything. Always throw a shout out to my parents. My brothers are awesome. It's actually my brother's birthday. So throw a shout out to my little brother, Keegan.
Cool.
And I think just throw a shout out to the wrestling world. We're trying to grow it, get it up there with the other sports, right? I think it's a place that can truly do that if we're wrestling the right style and making the right changes that need to be made and just keep getting the sport out there. That's my goal. And I think last but not least, throw a shout out to my faith and my everything is the Lord. And I know that it's his plan. So I'm really excited to see what's next for me. And again, I love this. So excited to see what's next.
All right, that's right. Hey, you heard it. That's Bo Bassett, the man. Like I said, I know we don't give that much love to children because he's still young. But look, he's done it all. He's beat them all. He's broken every record. He's now number one. And now he's heading to where he wants to go. to continue on with his journey. I'm glad to see what he's doing. I'm happy he has me on because Coach D gets to talk his noise. It is what it is, fight fans. This is Coach D doing what I'm doing, calling it like I see it. To hear from me again, peace out.